Hi, this is Janet with paperandspark.com. Welcome to part 1 of the video tutorial series for the new and improved Inventory Cost and Pricing Spreadsheet version 2.0. Thanks for purchasing this tool, and I hope it's a game changer for your creative business. The spreadsheet will help you get your pricing and inventory costs under control, along with streamlining the process for doing your ending inventory count at tax time. If you don't have this spreadsheet and you'd like to purchase, it's available for sale at paperandspark.com or in my Etsy shop, which is also called Paper and Spark. Your purchase includes this spreadsheet, which opens in Microsoft Excel, Numbers on a Mac, or Google Sheets, which is free. And it also includes a PDF guide with instructions and screenshots. And finally, it also includes this series of video tutorials. I also keep a log of FAQs, updates, and other resources related to this spreadsheet on my site at the link shown on the screen. I'll start out by giving you an introduction to the spreadsheet and everything it does, and then we'll go step by step through some real-life examples to show you exactly how you'll enter data into the spreadsheet. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to email me at paperandspark@gmail.com. Now let's get started. And a little side note about these video tutorials, every now and then if you see a spreadsheet that doesn't look like the version you have, don't worry about it. It's probably just the original version of this spreadsheet before I added some new features and updates. But the video tutorial still applies for teaching purposes. It just might look a little different than what you see on your screen. Now, for purposes of the video series, I'm going to switch back and forth between a spreadsheet that has fake data in it and a spreadsheet that's totally blank so that you can see what your spreadsheet looks like when you first get it, which is totally blank, and you can get an idea of what it'll look like once it has data in it. So don't get confused if you see numbers here where you might have not seen numbers before. It's because I'm toggling between the two. Okay, so here's a very brief overview of exactly what your spreadsheet can do for you. It can do a lot of different things. First, it's a place for you to enter your raw materials and supplies. Second, you can determine how much one finished good that you create costs you to make. That's called your cost of goods made, and that will be done using those raw materials and supplies that you entered. Second, you can price those finished goods. You can come up with a wholesale price and a retail price, and you can also change some of the variables in the recommended price formula that's in the spreadsheet. One of the things that goes into this price formula is your overhead rate. And you can also use the spreadsheet to calculate and adjust your overhead rate. We'll talk about that in detail later. You can also use the spreadsheet to track your finished inventory when you list it online and when you sell it. Finally, over here on your Sales tab, the spreadsheet will calculate your monthly sales and cost of goods sold, along with your markup profit each month, which is what I'm calling your sales minus your cost of goods sold. At the end of the year, if you've been tracking your data and your supplies and your materials all year, you can actually use the spreadsheet to calculate your total purchases of materials and supplies, your ending inventory in terms of finished goods at cost, and your ending materials and supplies left on hand. These last two amounts sum together to be your total ending inventory, which is an important number that you can later verify on the last day of the year via a physical count and then use that amount for your tax return. We'll talk more in detail about exactly how to do this important step later. So you can see the spreadsheet is very powerful. It can do a lot of things for you, and I think you're going to find it really helpful once you know how to use it. So now you know what the spreadsheet can do for you. Along those lines, let's talk about how this spreadsheet flows before we start using it. The more detailed tabs are going to be over here to the right with details flowing towards the left. So we've got more summarized tabs over here and then the nitty-gritty details over here. Just something to note, for every tab on this spreadsheet you can enter up to 2,000 line items. So that's 2,000 raw materials per tab, 2,000 finished goods that you create, 2,000 items that you want to price, 2,000 inventory items, etc., etc. So if you're dealing with more than 2,000 items, it's a good idea to contact me so we can help the spreadsheet handle that for you. So here's how your spreadsheet flows. You enter raw materials on these light green tabs, and you'll come up with a cost per unit for each raw material. You go over to the neon green cost of goods made tab, and you enter your goods as you create them, cost them out, and come up with a total cost of goods made per item. This amount will flow towards the yellow pricing formula tab right here, where you come up with a price, a wholesale price, and a retail price for your finished good. Now this yellow pricing formula tab also takes data from the blue overhead rate detail tab. This number right here is what can be used on your pricing tab. As you finish items and price them, those items and prices will flow to your inventory list tab. Here they go right here. And then you can put what date you list and what date you sell that item on. And as items are marked as sold, that info will flow to the applicable year and month on your sales tab, along with the related cost info, so that you can know your total sales and your total cost of goods sold for each month. So that's just a general overview of how the data and the numbers on your spreadsheet are going to flow from tab to tab. And then just a brief update for those of you using this new 2.0 version. There's a few new extra columns here for your units used, units remaining, and cost of units remaining. The cost of your remaining supply units, which is calculated on this column right here, is going to flow to your ending materials and supplies amount over here on your annual sales tab. So that's where this amount's coming from. And your ending year finished goods inventory is going to flow from your inventory tab, any items not marked as sold, and your materials and supply purchases for the year is also going to flow from your cost column for anything on a material tab that is bought in the applicable year. So that's where these numbers come from, just real quick, but we'll cover this section again in detail later.